Okay, now in this session we will discuss Lenz's rule and apply Lenz's rule in the following questions so as to find out the direction of the induced current. Now students, let's start with the Lenz rule, which we have discussed in the earlier episode as well. Lenz rule or Lenz law is used to give the direction of the induced current so produced during the phenomenon of electromagnetic induction. As per Lenz's law, the direction of the induced current is such that it always opposes the changes or the causes that produces it. So it's always of opposing nature. Let's consider first question. This is coil 1 and this is coil 2, which are connected to a sensitive galvanometer or an ammeter. And this is a bar magnet which acts as a source of magnetic field, and it is moved away from coil 1 and it is taken towards coil 2 with constant velocity, say V. Now in each of these two coils we are supposed to state whether the induced current will get produced, and if yes, then we are supposed to find out the direction of the induced current in coil 1 and coil 2, right? So what we do is, let's consider coil 1. Now as this magnet recedes from coil 1, then what happens is the magnetic field lines starts winding up. The magnetic field lines linked with the coil 1 starts winding up. That is, the magnetic flux linked with coil 1 starts decreasing. And as a result, this will be the direction of the magnetic field lines. Like this is the direction of the magnetic field line. So it will start winding up. So as a result, what will happen is, due to the decrease in the magnetic flux linked with coil 1, an induced EMF and current will be produced in this coil. Now as per Lenz's law, the direction of the induced current in coil 1 would be such that it opposes the receding magnet. And it can oppose the receding magnet only when this end of the solenoid acquires north polarity, while the other end of the solenoid acquires south polarity. Isn't it, students? So that it will attract the receding magnet. So it will oppose or provide some resistance towards the moving away magnet. Isn't it? So as a result, the current in the coil 1, when seen from this end of the solenoid, it must be flowing in the clockwise direction. So in coil 1, the current must be flowing in the clockwise direction. So in coil 1, the direction of induced current is clockwise when seen from this end. So it will be like this, right? So we are aware of this simple basic thing. Now if the current through a loop appears to be flowing in the clockwise direction, then that phase of the loop behaves as the south pole. While on the other hand, if the current in the loop appears to be flowing in the anti-clockwise direction, then this phase of the loop will tend to obey or tend to behave as north polarity in case of anti-clockwise direction, like this. So in this case, it will behave as north polarity. And in case the current appears to be flowing in the clockwise direction, then as I have stated, this phase of the loop will behave as south polarity, right? So here, this end will behave as south polarity. So if the observation point is over here, then from here it will appear as if the current is flowing in the clockwise direction, because this end of the solenoid acts as south polarity. Now students, let's consider the case of coil 2. Now in this case, the magnet is approaching towards it. So as a result, what happens is the magnetic flux linked with coil 2 will increase. As the magnet approaches coil 2, the magnetic field lines and hence the magnetic flux linked with coil 2 will start increasing. And as a result of change in the magnetic flux linked with coil 2, an opposing induced current will get produced. Here the induced current is produced in coil 2 due to the approaching magnet. So the direction of the induced current in coil 2 will be such that it opposes the approaching magnet. And that is feasible only when this end of the coil 2 acquires north polarity while this end of the coil acquires south polarity. So when seen from this end, this is the observation point, when seen from this end of coil 2, it will appear as if the induced current is flowing in the anti-clockwise direction. This end, it is the north polarity, and this end of this coil 2 will acquire south polarity. So north, it means that current must be flowing in the anti-clockwise direction, right? So it will be like this, anti-clockwise. So in coil 2, the direction of induced current is anti-clockwise. It is anti-clockwise. So in both the coils, the induced current will get produced. In coil 1, it will be in the clockwise direction, while in coil 2, it will be in the anti-clockwise direction. When these are the observation points, when it is seen from this end of the two solenoids, right? So we are over with question number 1 then. Let's concentrate on question number 2. Here, as per the question, the electric current in the straight wire in the direction from B to A is increasing. Okay, this current is not constant, it is increasing current. So, this is the increasing current. And here in this loop, we are supposed to find out whether the induced current will get produced or not. And if yes, then we are supposed to find out the direction of the induced current, right? So first and foremost, let's make use of Fleming's right hand rule, thumb rule actually, so as to find out the direction of the magnetic field in this loop. So current is flowing along this direction. So it will be like this. So current is flowing along the direction of which the thumb is indicating, and the rest of the fingers is curl. It's along this direction, right? The direction in which the rest of the fingers curl, that gives the direction of the magnetic field. So in this coil, the direction of the magnetic field is perpendicular to the plane and directed inwards. So it will be represented by cross. So the magnetic field due to this current carrying conductor, straight conductor in this loop will be directed inwards. And due to the increasing current, the magnetic field lines in the inward direction will grow. So magnetic field lines will also grow. So magnetic field in the downward direction increases. Right? Due to this increasing current flowing through the straight conductor in the direction from B to A. Now students, look, due to this change in the magnetic field strength, or due to the change in the magnetic flux linked with this coil, an induced current will get produced, and as per Lenz's rule, the direction of the induced current in this coil must be such that it opposes the increasing downward magnetic field. So for that, it should have its own magnetic field due to the production of induced current, so that it opposes the increasing downward magnetic field. So its own magnetic field should be in the upward direction, isn't it? So for that, this face of the loop must acquire north polarity. And it will be possible only if the induced current is flowing in the anti-clockwise direction. So students, in this loop, due to this increasing current in the direction B to A, an induced current will get developed which will be flowing in the anti-clockwise direction. So here the direction of the induced current would be anti-clockwise, because then its own magnetic field, it will be directed in the perpendicularly upward direction, outward direction, isn't it? So it will oppose the increasing inward magnetic field due to this straight current carrying conductor, right? So it is only when the induced current is in the anti-clockwise direction that it can oppose the changes or causes that produces it. So we are over with question number B as well. Now let's concentrate on question number C. Now here the question is, this is a magnet which is made to fall freely, and it is falling along this direction, along the axis of a loop which is placed in a horizontal plane. This is a horizontal plane. A loop is placed on a horizontal plane like this. So we are supposed to find whether this magnet falls with an acceleration equal to acceleration due to gravity, less than acceleration due to gravity, or greater than the acceleration due to gravity, or can't be determined. Now look students, when the magnet is made to fall freely, then what happens is the magnetic field lines will tend to grow. The magnetic field lines, it will tend to grow, right? So due to the approaching magnet, the magnetic flux linked with this coil will increase. So as a result of change in the magnetic flux, an induced current is produced in this coil placed on the horizontal plane. So obviously an induced current will get produced, but as per Lenz's rule, the direction of the induced current in the coil will be such that it opposes the approaching magnet. And that is possible only when this face of the loop acquires south polarity. Because it is only then that it will experience magnetic force or repulsion and it will oppose the approaching magnet, right? And we are aware, if the face of the loop behaves as south polarity, then the current must be flowing in the clockwise direction. So here induced current will be flowing in the clockwise direction. Now because of the opposing nature of the induced current, it will resist or it will provide an opposition to the falling magnet. So definitely the bar magnet will fall with an acceleration less than the acceleration due to gravity, right? So it will fall with an acceleration less than small g, and the direction of the induced current so produced in this coil is clockwise. Okay, let's concentrate on question number D. The straight wire PQ, there is a straight wire PQ, it carries a steady current of magnitude I ampere. Steady current, this is the key word students, steady. So this is a constant current. Now we are aware the magnetic field over here, just apply this thumb rule, isn't it? So this is the thumb indicates the direction of the current. So the direction in which the rest of the fingers curl, that gives the direction of the magnetic field. So in this loop, through this loop, the magnetic fields will be directed perpendicular to the plane of the loop and directed outwards. Dot indicates the direction of the magnetic field perpendicular to the plane and outwards. Now students, look, magnetic field is directly proportional to the current. So if current is constant, steady, then the magnetic field would be also constant. And flux being proportional to B. So if strength of the magnetic field do not change, therefore the magnetic flux linked with this loop will also not change. And you are aware, induced EMF and magnitude, it's given by d phi by dt. Therefore, if phi is equal to constant, then differentiation of constant is 0. Then obviously induced EMF is 0, which implies that induced current is also 0. So, in case a steady current is made to flow through the straight conductor, then in this circular loop, no induced EMF or current will get produced, right? Because here magnetic flux linked with this loop will not change. Okay, let's proceed with question number E. Now this is a coil which is placed on a vertical plane, and this is a bar magnet which is made to move away from this coil which is on the vertical plane. It is made to move away, right? So what happens is the magnetic field lines linked with this loop will start winding up. It will start decreasing due to the receding magnet. So as a result, due to the change, or rather due to the decrease in the magnetic flux linked with this coil, an induced current will get produced, and the direction of which as per Lenz's law is such that it will oppose the change or the causes that produces it. Here the magnetic flux is decreasing due to the receding magnet. So the direction of the induced current in the coil will be such that it opposes the receding magnet. So it can oppose the receding magnet only when this face of the coil acquires south polarity, so that it can attract the magnet towards itself. It will resist the magnet from going away from it, isn't it? And if this face of the coil acts as a south polarity, then the direction of the induced current must be in the clockwise direction. Right? So in this case, the direction of the current in this loop must be in the clockwise direction. So let's consider on the next question then. This is suppose a steady current, or we can say that suppose, let us consider the current to be increasing. Let us consider I current to be increasing in the direction from A to B. Now we are supposed to find out the induced current produced in this coil, which is kept on a horizontal plane, right? Mind it, it is the case where the loop is placed on a horizontal plane. So this is the current carrying conductor and the loop is placed on the horizontal plane. This is the situation. So due to this current carrying straight conductor, magnetic field will get established around it. It will be like this. It will be in the form of closed loops like this, isn't it? You can apply this rule. So magnetic field lines will be along this direction. So let us draw these magnetic field lines. So it will be like this. Magnetic field lines due to a current carrying conductor are in the form of continuous closed loops like this. Right? So in the plane of this loop, the magnetic field lines due to the straight conductor would be somewhat like this. So magnetic field lines will lie on the plane of the loop. Now students, magnetic flux is given by the scalar product of magnetic field and area vector. This is scalar product. If the angle between the magnetic field and area vector is theta, then it is given by BA cos theta. Right? Now here, what will be the direction of the area vector? It would be like this. This is the direction of the area vector. And magnetic field line, it will be along this direction. It will be in the horizontal plane. So what's the angle between these two? It is 90 degree. It is 90 degree. So here, theta being 90 degree, cos 90 becomes 0. So flux would be equal to 0. So here, even if the strength of the magnetic field will keep on increasing due to the increasing current, but still due to the fact that the magnetic field and the area vector are perpendicular to each other, therefore the magnetic flux associated with this coil, which is kept on a horizontal plane, is 0, and therefore no current will get induced in the coil. So this is the situation where no current will get induced, right? So this was again a very, very good question, which is based on the application of Lenz's rule. Okay, now let's concentrate on this question. The electric current in the straight wire in the direction A to B is decreasing. Okay, this is the direction of the current A to B. Due to this current carrying conductor, the magnetic field in this region would be again given by right hand thumb rule, isn't it? Like this. So current is going along the direction of the thumb, and the direction in which the rest of the fingers curl, that gives the direction of the magnetic field. So it is like this. So it will be in the inward direction. I am representing it by cross. Cross represents the direction of the magnetic field perpendicular to the plane of the loop and directed inwards. So since current is decreasing, and we are aware magnetic field is directly proportional to the current. So if current is decreasing, therefore magnetic field must also decrease, right? So here in this region, the magnetic field is decreasing in the downward direction, like this. Magnetic field is in the downward direction, inward direction, and magnetic field is decreasing in the inward direction. So due to this change in the magnetic field or the magnetic flux linked with this coil, an induced current will definitely get produced, and the direction of this induced current will be such that it opposes the changes or causes that produces it. So here the magnetic field is decreasing in the downward direction, and due to this change in the magnetic field lines, the induced current is produced. So the direction of induced current in this coil will be such that it opposes the decreasing magnetic field in the inward direction, and it can oppose it only if this face of the loop behaves as south polarity. So as a result, the induced current must flow through this coil in the clockwise direction. Because now due to this induced current, it will have its own magnetic field lines which will be directed inwards, so that it will oppose the inward decreasing magnetic field lines. It will not allow the magnetic field lines in the inward direction to get decreased, because it will itself acquire south polarity. Its own magnetic field lines will tend to act in the inward direction, and thus it will oppose the changing magnetic field, right? So in this case, the current through this coil should be in the clockwise direction. So we are over with question number G as well. Now let's consider H part, right? This is a question where two identical rectangular loops 1 and 2 are given. These are the two identical rectangular loops, may be placed on a table along a straight long current carrying conductor between them. There is a straight long current carrying conductor. Question is, what will be the direction of the induced currents in the loops when they are pulled away from the conductor with the same velocity? It is pulled away, and it is also pulled away with the same velocity. Both the loops are pulled away from the straight conductor with the same velocity, right? And second part is, will the EMF induced in the two loops be equal? We are supposed to justify the answer, right? So students, now as consider loop 1. Now as this loop is pulled away from the straight conductor, then what happens is, we are aware magnetic flux is equal to B A cos theta, isn't it? Theta over here, it will be like this. Due to this current, the magnetic field lines will be in the outward direction, like this. It will be in the outward direction over here, represented by dot. While in this area, magnetic field lines will be directed inwards. So it can be represented by cross. Cross represents the inward magnetic field, while dot represents the outward magnetic field. So angle theta is either 0 degree or it is 180 degree. It is the angle between the magnetic field and the area vector, right? So basically, as it is moved away, then the effective area under the influence of magnetic field obviously will get changed, and accordingly, due to the change in the magnetic flux, induced current will get produced over here. So in both the cases, when both the coils which are identical are moved away from the straight current carrying conductor, then due to the change in the magnetic flux linked with these two coils, the induced current will get produced. Now, according to Lenz's law, the direction of the current through a loop will be such that the change in the magnetic flux through the coils is opposed. For this, current through the loop 1 must be in the anti-clockwise direction. In 1, the direction of the induced current must be in the anti-clockwise direction. I'll justify it. Now look, as the loop is moved away, so what happens is this outward magnetic field lines will start decreasing through this effective area, isn't it? So this face of the loop must acquire some polarity so as to send its own magnetic field lines in the outward direction, and that is possible only when this face of the loop acquires north polarity, and hence the direction of the induced current must be in the anti-clockwise direction. Clear, students? Well, in this case, as this coil is moved away from the straight conductor, the magnetic field which is directed inwards, it will start decreasing as it is moved further away. So the direction of the induced current in this coil must be such that it should oppose the decreasing magnetic field lines in the inward direction. So this phase must behave as south polarity. So therefore, current in this coil must be in the clockwise direction, so that its own magnetic field lines will be directed inwards, and hence it will oppose the change in the magnetic flux through this coil. Clear? So in coil 1, the direction of the induced current must be in the anti-clockwise, while in coil 2, the direction of the induced current must be clockwise. So in both the coils, although their orientations are different, in both the coils, the induced current will get produced. In coil 1, it will be in the anti-clockwise direction, while in coil 2, it will be in the clockwise direction, right? Now the second question is, will the EMF get induced in the two loops be equal? And we need to justify the answer. Now we are aware the induced EMF, the magnitude, it is dependent upon the time rate change in the magnetic flux. And obviously the induced current would be equal to E by R. R is the net resistance offered by the loop, so it can be written as 1 by R d phi by dt. I am talking about only the magnitude, right? So greater the rate of change of magnetic flux through the loop, greater will be the magnitude of the induced current so produced. Now students, in the case of loop 2, the EMF induced will be much more. It is because rate of change of magnetic flux through the loop 2 is greater than that through loop 1. Because consider this, as the loop is taken away from here, the effective area which comes under the influence of strong magnetic field, it gets changed. That area is larger. So more flux changes in lesser time, while in this case less flux is changing during the same time. So therefore the rate at which the magnetic flux changes through loop 2 is much higher as compared to the rate of change of magnetic flux through loop 1. Because flux is the scalar product of magnetic field and area vector. So time rate change in the flux, it would be d phi by dt. So it would be d by dt b vector dot a vector. So this area would be smaller as compared to this area. So the rate of change of flux associated with coil 2 being larger, the EMF or the magnitude of the induced current so produced in coil 2 would be greater than that of coil 1. So I hope you have understood all the 8 questions which were based on the applications of Lenz's law. So let us conclude this particular session. I hope you have understood and do practice more and more such numericals. So that's it for this particular session. Do join me in my next lecture. Thank you.